animation. There we go.
So you had just left the library, the archives?
Yep.
The Grand Duke's archives.
Did I know it was the Grand Duke?
That was the title of the area we zoned in.
Okay. I also have no flasks and no bonfire that I know of. At least not down here after I drop down.
You have a very, very close bonfire, but not after you drop down.
Good morning, Johan. This is very strange. I don't know if there's been any other area in the game as open as this.
Except for the lava area.
That's true. Wow, that tree looks really ugly up close. I can see why maybe they didn't. Huh. I really feel I shouldn't go down there. Let me switch my stupid stream title. Dark Souls. And blind playthrough. Update intro. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Dark Souls wasn't goth enough, so you need Darkest Souls. That would be amazing if instead of 1, 2, and 3, they had Dark Souls, Darker Souls, and Darkest Souls.
Darkestest.
That would be amazing. Hi, Six Gun. How's it going?
There would have to be Dark Souls, Darker Souls, and Dark Souls with a Vengeance.
Dark Souls. A Vengeance or Revengeance?
Or with a Vengeance. Oh, right. That's pretty bad, too. I was thinking of Die Hard movies.
Yeah. I agree. The textures here are... this part of the game suffers graphically a lot because of the trees, and the ground just looks really polygonal. It's one of those things where, like in World of Warcraft, it doesn't feel as dated because the art style matches the engine and the power of the engine. And I feel that in Dark Souls it works really well when you're dealing with castles and stuff and like the ruins, but it doesn't do nature anywhere near as well. Oh, there's a ladder. High ladder.
It's really interesting to me, and maybe it's just growing up as a console gamer, but like I don't even notice stuff like that. You'd have to go out of your way to point it out that the trees look shitty and the ground is dumb. It's like that's never been a focus for me.
So it doesn't bother me, but I do notice it. Like you wouldn't even notice it.
No, it doesn't even register. Like it would have to look really bad. It's like a game like Knights of the Old Republic. Pretty much all those games from the Xbox and PS1 and N64 era have not aged well just because they're generally empty.
Right.
But, like the quality of textures, I'll never look at a game and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do.
Textures, I generally will appreciate like nice textures, but bad textures won't do it for me unless like my brain snapped.
Just passed like 3 chests, by the way.
Go me. Unless they're repetitive. So I will spot the repetition, and that can really bother me, especially if it's supposed to look natural like grass. And it's like, that is a grass tile. Okay, giant cell key. Fuck. Oh, seriously?
So trivial to check.
I know. I was thinking about it too. Like, there are three boxes. Surely one of them is going to.
I'm telling you that in Dark Souls 2, there's iron chests and they're never ever mimics. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna check them anyway because one of them is gonna be a fucking mimic. And the one time I forgot to check.
Yeah. Okay. Now I am.
It was in the room on your right.
Confused again. Oh, thank you. I can go get myself.
Right.
It is a great game. I think it would be really fun to play with a group of like Marstead friends. I got an extra copy from Humble Bundle and was going to give it to you as a Christmas present, but then I totally forgot in time. So
You sent me the best Christmas present of all time, which is nothing.
I was going to send it to Johan. Sorry. Not you. I know you don't want anything. Why can't I target it? Am I just that bad? There we go. Non-Marstead friends. Well, then you can just convert them into Marstead friends.
Oh, but it's so hard propagable if you're starting out as a streamer to try to build any sort of audience. Like, I had the luxury of, my severance money from my old job and 6 months to, like, talk to an empty room every single day to get a seed audience.
Oh shit, I just lost 16,000 souls. Yeah, it's not really. Yeah. I can't imagine trying to do it from scratch. I tried it for a month and gave up because it was stupid.
I actually like doing Darkest Dungeon, which is even a pretty popular game.
Yeah.
0-0-0-1.
Yeah, like I might get one hit, but like literally nobody said anything. So
it's a big problem when you're starting because you don't even have like a regular to tell you, hey, your mic is too quiet.
Right.
So like they'll just come in here, your mic is too quiet, and just leave.
Yeah, I guess you could test it on your own, but if you don't have experience, you don't know enough that you know you should test it all the time.
I'll move your mic closer to my face, thanks, yeah. Andrew is sleeping, so.
I can pump up my volume a bit. I think I've got my gain setting right. Let me double check.
I think he's talking about my voice.
Okay. Well, the other thing is, I don't know, I guess it's weird. I've had a bunch of different groups of friends that I've gamed with over the years, but I've never had one group that I've gamed with forever. Like, I had a group of friends in high school that I gamed with, and I kind of lost touch with them. I had a group of college friends that I gamed with, and, like, I still game with Joe and a few of them, but there were another dozen that I might talk to every 2 years.
Sure. You should check out that symbol of avarice you just found. It's a head item.
Ooh. Armor. No. Armor. Let's try something different. Head item. Oh, crystalline helm. Oh, people to play it with? Yes. Now, I have a couple other friends who might be interested. Crystallized helm worn by a hollowed knight who is partially crystallized. The power of crystal grants high defense. This crystallization reminds me of some of the like weird fungal crap from the Expanse universe. It was more than a little disturbing.
It's got kind of like a spreading virus quality to it.
Exactly. I am not seeing this head item.
It's at the very bottom. Symbol of avarice.
There we are. Monster. Head resembling a treasure chest. Once an ancient god, it is said that this is the symbol of shame, posed on a long-lost clan exiled for the sin of avarice. Wearing this slightly raises soul absorption and item discovery, but also affects its wearer with the curse of the branded. What is the curse of the branded?
Well, you can equip it and find out.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so huge. I don't know how to view status.
It's draining your health very slowly. So this is a really good item for farming, if you're farming for items or for souls, because it increases your souls and item find by the maximum amount at the same time. You have the ring already that increases your item find, and it doesn't stack with that.
Okay.
It also doesn't stack with the ring that gives you more souls, but you haven't found that yet. So if you're ever like doing some off-stream souls farming, throw that on. Try not to die.
Yeah, I've been a bit surprised by that propagable. I don't know. Is there a Marstead Steam group?
There is. I don't know that anyone ever uses it.
Okay, that might be interesting.
I think we've got a lot of people with a ton of different tastes. Like, I think that's probably the.
That is an issue. Also, a lot of what you play isn't multiplayer games.
Yeah.
As much as you may or may not enjoy them, but like the fact that you spend at least half your time playing RPGs, primarily JRPGs.
Mm-hmm. Not a big crossover with people that want to do duck games.
Yeah. Ow. I don't.
To not be primarily JRPGs.
I was really sad. Okay, so what happened? There was an auction, and who won it?
Chaos Factor won.
Okay, and he chose Darkest
Dungeon on.
Oh, awesome. I was gonna be really sad if some other RPG got on, because I was like, I had the SP. I could have done it. Oh yeah, and
me too, probably will.
Yeah, like I will play pretty much anything. I have no standards. Doesn't like duck. I don't think Andrea and Liz were big on duck game. Or sorry. No, yeah. But
Andrea and Kiwi.
Whatever. Liz has me all let's see. But I don't know if it was just that they liked Overcooked that much, or if they didn't like duck game.
I generally prefer co-op to PvP games anyway. Like,
yeah.
I very, very quickly get the existential angst when I'm playing a PvP game. Like, why am I fucking bothering?
No.
Co-op, it's like, well, I'm working toward a goal with other people, and there's an end point. You know, it's doing the last level and beating the boss.
You can go be friends with Nodovan forever. That's probably been our biggest, I mean, not source of disagreement, but just like style difference, is he loves co-op. And I like co-op, but I will happily do PvP too.
Yeah. I can do
and,
there's
and he hates PvP.
Tiers. Like, the worst PvP to me is Cards Against Humanity.
Is that PvP or is that just dickishness? I haven't played it in so long. Is there anything I should be looking for down here? I don't see shit.
Well, you found the one thing that you're supposed to progress with, but you said, I'm not going down there.
Oh. Damn it. Yeah, I actually went through a bunch of old games I played earlier tonight, Spiky, trying to figure out what's over 30 hours. And I have determined that all the strategy games of my youth were designed to be 25 hours long.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, originally when I first came up with the loading spreadsheet, it was JRPGs and not JRPGs, and I was like, that's too complicated. Like, I don't want to adjudicate that. That is this an RPG or not? You know, You could argue that Persona 3 isn't. So,
what would happen
just to make it hours
now that you made the points dependent on hours? If you just combined it all.
Yeah,
I guess you play one long and one short a week, right?
Yeah, I put that in my poll or my survey. I said, hey, you know, now that the price scales, wouldn't it make sense to just remove the margin? And the vast majority of people said no, don't do that. And I think there's a legit fear that then I would be playing two RPGs at the same time, and it would just be a stale schedule for months and months and months.
Don't you already sometimes? I mean, there are short RPGs. I guess.
I play enough other stuff. Like Castlevania games are usually a week or two.
Say bye to Kaihan.
Slippy slidey.
Tell her she should be glad she goes to a country with excellent schools. Lives in a country, sorry. Did I ever send you or tell you about that article about a Finnish teacher working in American schools?
No, can you?
It was super depressing. The TLDR was, people say that America needs better teachers. So they interviewed a Finnish teacher, and several, in fact, who had moved and taught in American schools. And basically they all hated it and wanted to like end their lives after a year or two. Because the problem with American schools isn't necessarily the teachers, who may or may not have the best training. It's that the system itself is like not designed for freedom and responsibility and individualization and stuff like that.
That makes sense. It's a bummer.
Yeah. It was really interesting though, because like a lot of people, including me, look to Finland as like the happiest and most wonderful of schooling places. And this was they actually had a speech given by like the Finland Secretary of Education to someplace in the US, and he was like, you guys think you can copy us by doing this, 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 and this. You can't. You've got it all wrong.
No, exactly. Six Gun. I was talking about removing the split between long and short games would make this schedule stagnate, because even if it's an RPG, if it's 10 hours long, it's gone in 2 weeks, you know. But if there's no separation, then we could have 2 90-hour games in the schedule.
Because you just play one game until it was done. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even if we did 2 at a time, like it would still be possible that we could have 2 90
Yeah.
games.
I can see the point of having that separation in that case.
I don't like it though, because it's not perfect, right? Like it gets really wonky at the margins.
Right.
People have a game that's like 28 hours long. I'm like,
I still argue that if I pick a strategy game that's like 27 hours long, you don't know how to play a strategy game, so it'll take you over 30.
It's true.
It's a mean argument, but
fucking can of worms that I don't want to open.
I agree. I think I found... Oh, this was an interesting question, and I don't know if you've addressed this. It might be in the FAQ. Say there's something like StarCraft 2, which has 3 campaigns. Do you add up the campaigns and count that as a game?
I would probably do each one separately.
Okay.
I think that they are registered that way on something like How Long to Beat. I mean, something like Life is Strange is similar. It was released in 5 separate episodes, and I don't think I'll play it as one. So I'd probably make that as a judgment call each time. But I think in the case of StarCraft, like each campaign is a full like 15 or so hours, right?
It's like 15, 9, and 7. So yeah.
Gotcha. I really like this area.
This is very pretty. I am a fan already. Although I don't have no clue what I'm doing. I thought I saw a message out there. I thought I would be walking on glass.
You did see a message, but there's some other conveyance as to whether it's safe to walk.
Bye, hon.
Bihon's pretty good. Yeah, I think that almost the entire spreadsheet, except for games I've added, are blind for me too. So a lot of them I've just never heard of before too.
That's cool. I was impressed. I was going back, and I don't quite know how this happened, but I was looking at a bunch of my favorite games from my childhood on Metacritic, and the strategy ones, and like there were a lot of them over 90. I was like, I don't think it was that I had an exceptional taste. It was just that at that time, the really big PC gaming titles that got a lot of press and coverage and like were recommended by friends and whatnot were actually really good. Like it was just a like end of the 90s was a great era for PC gaming.
I think that there's been a decay in overall rating scores. Like an amazing game today has like an 88 or an 89. They don't really give games 90 to a 95 anymore.
Yeah.
That's true for games that I like them too.
I actually saw an article, maybe it was while I was on Metacritic, about that, and you can see that like there's a gradual decay in the number of games over 90. I think it was specifically talking about PC games, but they looked at consoles and it was there, although maybe not as significant. But for example, in the late 90s, it was 14 to 16 games a year, and it's now down to 6 to 7.
Sure. Yeah. Despite the fact that there's as many games came out on Steam in 2016 as like the last, or there's like 40% as many games in 2016.
Although I really wonder how many of those even get rated on Metacritic. That is really pretty. Why are these guys following me? Have they gone away? Please go away. No. Why?
Propagable, I probably wouldn't use How Long to Beat for Path of Exile because they don't even have a main story category there. They just have co-op, which isn't a thing. I'd also have to set a like how do you beat Path of Exile if I did the Diablo 3. Ouch.
That's awesome, Johan. We're torn what to do with Tiny Dargan. Not that he's old enough for school yet, but like there's a school that he could walk to, but it's a pretty crappy school. So we're tempted to look at like other places that would involve driving, or maybe biking, but probably driving.
Is there any like busing out there, or let's say if you want a bus, you should go to the ones in walking distance?
They'd be private or charter, who generally don't do busing. Charter schools might. I guess I don't know. I know that in Colorado, charter schools didn't get busing money. You can also apply to go to a better public school, but since the rest of the public schools in Santa Fe are even worse, the priority would be fairly low.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
The Los Alamos schools here are great.
Something.
I think it's like an A+ if you look at the whatever the city sites are.
It is. I'm a dirty hippie and don't care about that. Oh my gosh, I rolled off. I care about a kid being able to like run around outside, which people in Finland know about. People in America do not. I think.
Bruski's in Santa Fe.
Yeah. It's like a 45-minute drive from Los Alamos.
You know, we do our weekly 45-minute house husband date drive. Although we were behind on that with Japan Christmas and shit.
Yep. And we need to reschedule it because my schedule is getting messed up. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm kind of wonky now. I think the stream's going to be 5 hours indefinitely.
Forever.
Yeah, the way I'm spreading it out.
Well, and there are some schools, for example, around here that do that. So Waldorf is one. They do have their super weird German philosophy, but as long as they don't inculcate kids with it too bad, like they are really big on kids being able to play outside and go outside and not stuck in a box all day.
I think these guys are resistant to fire damage, by the way.
Is that why I'm sucking against them? I think you're correct. We might have even looked at that last time. There's another...
Now, what makes you think that like an online review for a school system saying it's really good would, necessarily mean that it locks them in a box and doesn't let them play outside?
Because those reviews are primarily based on test scores.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, what
so
else?
Like it's saying, like, did the students perform well? Not like...
So you can probably look at what those reviews are based on, but they're either going to be based on test scores or on college admissions.
Okay. Neither of those are important to me. Like something first.
Right. I mean, there might be some in Santa Fe. You might have like stabbings per school, and so like it would be good to have a high grade because there are fewer stabbings. But that's a pretty...
one-handing that sword now, by the way.
I fixed it, and I need to switch swords. That's a pretty low bar to clear. I have an enchanted falchion. I have not used this. I will try it for the hell of it. To visit which school? Well, it'll be...
Yeah, I always thought it was Parent Satisfaction 6 gun. I can look it up for the songs.
Yeah, that would be interesting. You also might have the issue of parent satisfaction in Los Alamos might be high test scores and college admissions. I want to see the moth. Yeah, you can visit schools, and we could do that. He's actually done a class at Waldorf already, and that was really fun. We're doing that again this spring. Wow, that's gorgeous. I can also kill it, but it's too pretty. It'll probably come kill me later.
I see what you mean. Like, there's all these sites that are like, oh, we only have data based on test scores, and there's a couple states that have additional data. That's pretty dumb. I feel like that's like one of the least useful things used as a metric.
Oh yeah. Well, in the last school I taught at was oh man, this is weird. I hope I don't fall off.
That was a developer message there, the little knight icon. So you would know that there's a path here even if you aren't connected to the internet.
That's cool. Was railing against test scores because it was a classical school, so they had a lot of parents that cared about academics, but they were basically like, we're going to teach your kids good stuff, largely the old-fashioned way. By old-fashioned, like from the early 1900s. Now,
Hidden Ember 36 damage.
This is, yeah, that one's not so helpful. And we're just going to let the test scores happen. And we were the second out of like 40 schools in the district for test scores because we taught the kids decent stuff well. The top school was another charter school that basically just focused on having the best test scores. So like you could have schools with high test scores that do try and make well-rounded kids, or ones that don't.
I see. But not everybody tracks the second one. It's a harder metric.
How are you going to track it?
Too.
Yeah.
Well, lack of stabbings is a good plus.
Lack of what?
You're going to use lack of stabbings. You're going to use Ivan instead of the fire sword since you're strong against fire.
I mean, lack of stabbings is a good start. I would want a bit more than that. The thing you can do, and I guess this might be easier for me because I have a lot of experience with schools and teachers, but you go to like greatschools.com is a really good one. That's the site I almost always use. And then I try and find parent and student reviews, and you read them and see what do they complain about. And you, of course, understand, as always, that online reviews are full of complainers and usually not full of happy people.
You can get a sense, I think, an aggregate.
Yeah, like, are they all complaining about the same thing? Usually, because people care a lot about their school, you'll actually have at least half parents being like, no, those complainers are terrible, this is the best place. And they'll try and explain, like, why it's the best place. So at the last school I taught, one of the worst reviews on their website was like, they want the kids all to be robots and just do the same thing. And it was fairly clear after reading some other parent reviews that it's like, no, this school has a reasonably strict discipline policy, but it's not because they don't value individuality. It's just because they don't want to deal with bullshit. If you act up, you will get punished. Sorry. The other option is to move to Finland. I like that option.
It looks like Ivan's doing like a factor of 10 more damage per swing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hey, Nodovan, how's it going? I do like the move to Finland option. I'm not sure Kiwi could get a job in Finland. Also, immigrating to other countries is really hard.
Yeah.
Especially Scandinavian countries with their like welfare states. They don't like giving it away to everybody for some reason. Don't understand why.
You should probably also kindle that bonfire next time you respawn.
That would be excellent. That would be a clever idea. Although now that I have Ivan, I feel like unstoppable. Okay, so let's go down here. I mean, Finland likes science, but Kiwi specifically specializes in environmental health protection. So basically, using physics and chemistry to protect the environment from radiation. And Finland, like a reasonable country, already has a geologic long-term repository, unlike the U.S. So they probably don't need a whole bunch of people trying to look at how to build a new one. And I don't think they're drastically ramping up their like nuclear power plant production. So I'm not sure that they would really have that many jobs in that field. They're also a fairly small country, so I don't know that they have a large research budget. And the research budget for researching radiation effects on the environment in the US is almost non-existent. So I can't imagine it would be that much bigger in Finland.
There's not a big astrophysics program in Finland either, so they can like science but not have the field.
Yeah, he game saucer. I mean, I don't know the population of Finland, but I'm pretty sure it's under 30 million, so it's going to be less than a 10th or an 11th of the US, and I think it's far smaller than that.
You see, probably feeling unstoppable in a Dark Souls game. There can only be one way that will end, and you'll get stopped.
Oh, I nothing against Finland. I'd be super like the Finns are awesome. You definitely want them when Russia starts doing shit. Why don't I just get my wife to reskill? Fair enough.
Yeah, you just gotta respec.
This is so disturbing. I don't. Yeah, but it's 50 gold from like the old WoW, where 50 gold would hurt you bad.
Have they not done like a money squish yet?
Not that I know of. They've kind of. Well, that was annoying. It instead of going up by a factor of 10 every X pack, I think it goes up by a factor of 2-ish, which makes it pretty manageable.
Don't forget to kindle the bonfire.
Yeah, so 6 million people, so that's something like 2% the size of the US. That gravity was mean. I do not like that gravity. I did not think that was too steep.
Oh, I should send you try dashing to add to the bot.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know how to add sound to a bot, so I'll have to look that up tomorrow.
Yeah, no, let's do it now. There's a module in Ogbot called SFX, and you add one, give it a title, and you pick the sound file.
I'm jealous, Nodovan. I want my magic pixel numbers to go up. I also think that that's rather unusual. Most people in the game, I'm guessing, don't have over 100,000 gold.
Yeah, I seem to remember like 1 gold being a big deal. Like you needed like 5 gold to get a mount, and that was a lot of grinding.
Yeah, I think it was 500, but it was a lot of grinding. Maybe it was 50 gold for the mount, maybe 500 for flying. Nodovan would know.
How much did around that like? Yeah, vanilla. Google says 100G. I must have played a game where it was like rare to get a couple gold. Maybe it was Guild Wars 2 when it first came out.
2 to 9%. I didn't know it went that high 6 gun. It's interesting. I guess I'm just too used to the US holding it really low. Or not necessarily holding it, but having it be really low.
Hitbox porn there. That was pretty great.
Yes. Man, what would happen if you had deflation in an MMO? That would be a really cool place to test it.
Oh, MMOs are amazing for economics theory. You remove all of these frustrating variables that make economics not work the way you expect it to in the real world.
And deflation means your money will be worth more in the future. Huh. I wonder how you would have that.
MMO economy with deflation would have to have lots and lots of extremely attractive gold sinks, right? I guess they have the difference between an MMO economy is they have the ability to destroy money very quickly.
Right. Are you talking about fixing it, or like how?
Just like what's a scenario where you have deflation in an MMO? I think every MMO I've played has had steady inflation over time.
Yeah. I'd be curious if one was dying, but I think that wouldn't work either.
Yes, propagable. That's really good. There's also John Smith, the dude who was the economist for Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is my favorite economy of any MMO I've ever played. It was the closest thing to perfect competition. It was trivial to list everything from anywhere. It automatically, like you could watch the price of goods approach market equilibrium. It was amazing.
Yeah, the Valve guy actually went to work in Greece a few years ago, if I recall. It didn't help. He probably didn't hurt either.
You know what that message? You don't trust it.
Oh, he did do a shitty job? What did he do, Sixgun? I should know more about that, but I've forgotten.
No, it's that like none of them. Yeah, the way they handle items next to Guild Wars 2 is fucking brilliant. Like, there are very few useless and totally worthless items in that game. Very, very few. Because they have it set up so that you can convert tiers of materials to higher or lower tiers of materials. So if for whatever reason the tier 4 ore isn't in demand, you can convert it to like a bunch of tier 5 ore or tier 3 ore. So as long as at least one tier is in demand, it can be worth it.
Yeah, I was really jealous. I can't remember what I was doing when Nodvin was playing Pirates of the Burning Sea, but I wasn't able to play it, and it looked really cool. What was acting like a jerk, Sixgun? Just saying that they like wouldn't agree to austerity?
That's cool, not even. So, player made, you mean like player generated? Does that include? I assume there's some analog for gathering, generating resources by approaching nodes. Yeah, that's actually not dissimilar from Final Fantasy XIV. I know that PolarBruski hasn't messed around with the market board there at all, but it's basically once you're a really high-level crafter or gatherer, it becomes trivial to make most items. And it's just the opportunity cost. Am I getting iron ore? Am I getting silver ore? So they all have the same cost, and the cost is the amount of time you spent on it.
No, but that was the cool thing about this Pirates of the Burning Sea, was I don't think you could own the whole chain up and down. You were limited in the amount of buildings you could have and bases, so you had to negotiate with other players and like find out ways to trade to get what you want. You could specialize in, I'm going to make all the copper ore, and then I'll give it to this guy who will make it into cool shit, and he'll give me some of it back.
That's cool. So you can't be like an omni-crafter.
Exactly. It forced you to play with others and have an actual economy where you had people trading and stuff.
It's interesting that in a wildly different system, the basic like unit currency is time investment. I'm sure there's sometimes there's a shortage of people who do copper, and copper's worth a little bit more. I think you can, if you run down into the ice area, these guys will eventually leave you alone.
Okay, I'll try that. Yeah, I can see where you might not want an economist as a negotiator. Although I wonder if you got a behavioral economist, if they'd be better at it. That could be interesting. Yeah, the idea of making piracy actually a thing is really cool, Nodovan. Like, that's something that to me is disappointing in Elite Dangerous. There's no profit to be had in piracy, and no reason to do it other than to have a fun interaction with another player. Like, the amount of money you'll ever get is just trivial.
I wish that, I feel like a game like Elite Dangerous in particular could try to do that. Procedurally adjust prices and goals for things if they're not being done often. I want to play a game that it just does that every day.
I mean, it does that with the in-game economy. I just think they might not want to encourage that much more piracy.
Well, what I mean is that, there's 20 activities that generate income in that game. Like,
yeah.
Figure out using big data how many activities players are doing, and slowly buff the players buff the activities that no players are doing because they're not economical until they become economical. Bring everything up to par.
That would be really interesting. I suspect you would end up with some wildly large swings, and I'd be curious if those would end up hurting it. Because I don't think people would respond to subtle price pressures, because they would choose the activity based primarily on what was fun and secondarily based on what was most profitable. There will be some people that will always do the most profitable, but
isn't piracy like fundamentally something that should be super fun and it's just not worth doing right now?
Yeah, and people still do it because it's fun. But
I see.
Like, so your gold per hour trading is somewhere between 10 million and 80 million credits once you're at max level. Your combat gold per hour is probably between 5 and 20. Your piracy gold per million. Your piracy gold per hour is going to be under 1 million. It's probably going to be under 100,000. You will probably play hours and get like maybe one victim who gives you anything. And it's probably going to be worth like maybe 50,000.
I see.
Like it's you just don't make any money. It's not that it's inefficient. It's that most people hate pirates enough that they just won't give them anything. They'd rather die. Okay.
The R1 spam is great. You did roll at the end of it, though. I think those gold ones don't respawn, I'm not sure.
Oh gosh, I'm petrified now that I actually killed the thing to go anywhere.
Giant golden golem. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking is that I'd like to see a game that, even a game like Diablo 3, where the problem there is skill balance more than anything else. Like, nudge all the underperforming skills by, 1% per day or per hour or per 10 minutes. Something crazy like that. It's an experiment I've never seen a developer try, and just do everything data-driven to push the numbers to the point where they're competitive, and then go back and do like the big brushstrokes of the mechanics.
It would be neat. I think that players might get frustrated because all of a sudden this is hitting for weaker than it did yesterday. And why? Because a lot of people liked it. You might be able to just argue to the players, but that's what the data said.
Well, in that case, I would say don't even, you never drive it down. Like, you're constantly escalating it. You
just have pure inflation.
Buff underpowered skills, yeah. And that's already happening in Diablo 3, where, like, we're having problems with the number of digits, like, lagging the game.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's, in the higher greater rifts, the enemies have so many hit points that it will lag your machine out.
That's where I came from. There's more over there. Okay. I could try getting down on that big crystal. It really doesn't look that helpful. What? Oh, so that's above me. Where is that? Okay. There's a sign up there. I wonder if I can hack that piece. Nah, just miss. I'm gonna go follow this road. And see if it does lead back to where I was before.
This is so stressful.
It's so stressful. Okay, there's a here. Okay, so I'm going up and then down. I don't think I was here before. So I'm going to declare this as progress. Then we've got another. Why? Now there's an imminent fall labeled here.
I think that means that you can drop down onto the platform below you to get the item that was down there with the golden golem.
That makes some sense. So terrified. Why? Why did they make me do this?
I love this. This is great. It's very Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. What was it? I had a fun trap once in a D&D game I ran last year where they triggered some trap in a hallway and immediately they were on a walkway in black space that stretched infinitely in either direction. And they didn't know what to do, and the trick was it was basically all an illusion. They were on a walkway that was 1 foot above the ground, and if they just hopped over the edge, they would be fine. But as soon as they hopped over the edge, they were invisible to the rest of the party.
That's awesome.
I think they actually solved it fairly fast by using a rope.
Now,
oh no!
How did you feel about that?
Oh, I was happy. I was very happy. I was worried that they wouldn't solve it at all and that they were just gonna like hate me because they were stuck on this invisible bridge forever.
No, I'm always in the same boat. If they figure out something cool quickly, awesome. I don't like just getting my players stuck.
You are welcome to it. Oh, ow. Okay, so this is bad. Bonfire. Is that a bonfire? I'm gonna pretend that's a bonfire and just run towards it. And die. Is that a bonfire? It looks like a bonfire. All the way back up. That's awesome that you can laser burn prices on fruit.
Your face is a bonfire.
Yeah, I did totally steal that idea from some wiki article I found, which was like 101 unusual traps for D&D campaigns. I have not tried not dying. I will look at doing that this next round. Oh, I also had in that dungeon a really fun trap that I enjoyed, which they triggered, and all of a sudden sprayers from above released a giant sticky mess on them that was made of like brown sugar and tomatoes and salt and pepper. And the one player who was somewhat of a cook was like, wait, is this barbecue sauce? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm very scared now. You hear a rumbling from below.
That's great. You should go to the D&D subreddit sometime. There's some cool, I tricked my party, like, there was one that was like multi-session where like they didn't realize that the adventure was basically Jurassic Park.
I love those when it's like, I just ran the plot of this movie and they totally didn't realize it. I'm not stuck, I'm moving.
Gets to a point where like, you know, one of their players is like, I checked to see if there's concentric rings in the water cups that the wizard provided me.
Hell. I am dashing through right now.
That's the dead end that you're taking right now. You're taking the dead end right now.
No.
You're going back to the dead end platform.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I see. Yes.
Remember, this is the platform
I have to go down that one.
You'll get very good at running across this eventually. Or, you know, you might, maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe there's a beautiful bonfire at the end of that room. I have faith.
Gotta have faith. I'm saying, are you going to get there?
Oh, I see what you mean. You have no faith.
There is a bonfire in that room.
That drop is scary as hell.
You'll make it. But it is terrible.
Oh no, those women are the most worth your time because they're the independent ones that can get a job and earn money so you can stay at home and play video games. Trollolol.
It's great. Andrea is like completely impervious to using her own poison against her, you know, and she's like, if you try not dying, like, well, you told me I should try not die. I was like, yeah, well, that's because we have different standards for each other. What's yours is mine, what's mine is mine.
Okay. Nah, that's not going to be strong enough. Dodge. Dodge. Sword. Two-hand. Dodge. Oh.
Wow, you got a medium rollback. That's exciting.
One down. Two down.
Hey, goodbye. You do have official names. I think it's from Bandai Namco.
Yeah, I'm not sure where. I thought I could find them, but maybe I was thinking of the Ammonomnicon from Enter the Gungeon.
Don't think they're specific. Sometimes they'll be referenced when you get their loot. So it'll be like, okay, this is the Baldur Knights shield. Like, okay, I guess they're called Baldur Knights.
Too much R1 spam. Fuck my life.
You can take advantage of the geography in that room. I think you can like force them into a choke point, and only have to deal with one at a time.
Yeah. I was curious. I pulled one that I thought was in the back. And I feel another pulled with him. They don't have chained pulls in this game, do they? For some reason I'm spacing and I can't remember.
No, enemies don't really link to each other.
I think spooky hell clams is at least a bit more descriptive.
Yeah. Spooky.
Clams don't normally have teeth or feet. These have both. That is wrong. However, I'm getting much better at my salty run back.
Yep. It's always one of my favorite things about these games. Man-eater shell is their name. Well, they're also called giant clams.
Well, I apologize, Goomba. You were right. After you see a large enough sample of swans, you can presume that they're all white until proven otherwise. You may not be correct, but that's okay.
Fucking induction. Fucking Nazis.
Deal with it. It was good enough for Aristotle, it's good enough for me.
Yep, you're going back on the dead end. You're heading back to the dead end.
Thank you. Fail.
But hey, there's not a golden golem down there that's killing you each time you walk down there.
And he didn't respawn, so I can take some victory. I have accomplished something this night, aside from learning.
You killed 2 gold golems, and you've learned how to get there.
But the learning is intangible. The golem deaths, now those are real. Good night, Six Gun.
These guys drop Twinkling Titanite, I guess. The clams.
I don't think I'm using that for anything. We'll see.
Not right now.
I mean, sure, they were wrong, but you could also be wrong if you said, like, all chickens have 2 legs. But you know what? I'm going to assume that they have 2 legs until proven otherwise, because that's how induction works. Do they not respawn? Yes, they do. They're hiding. They do not stagger easily.
I think each hit was staggering him.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I want them to be, like, knocked down on the floor stunned. My standards are high.
Pancake.
Yeah. Can I backstab them? I thought I was behind that last one.
You cannot backstab.
Oh, that's so
Backstab is typically
disappointing.
reserved for small humanoid enemies.
I mean, they've got legs.
It's true.
Is that not enough?
Human-ish.
Okay.
I mean, Ben has legs.
Ben doesn't have legs like this.
It's true.
If Ben does, I'm not sure I'm bringing Tiny Dragon over to play with him anymore. Kind of scared.
Definitely have a good plan here of trying to get behind them since they only really attacked in the front.
Yep. And saying most. Saying most is not as helpful. If you're not making assumptions about new things, you're not going to get very far.
And that silence ring is doing you favors.
It's so nice. Although, whenever I take it off, I just feel utterly crippled. Like, enemies can tell where I am. This is not fair. I see why I'm going to be making this run back. So I think I would like an answer to this. Can I run through and get a bonfire on the far side before fighting this boss?
There is a bonfire in this room, but there isn't right now.
Gotcha.
The bonfire you have is the closest bonfire to this room.
Yeah, there's no point in being super accurate. Like, I can say, this keyboard has a P on it, and that doesn't tell me much about all the rest of the keyboards in the world unless I start assuming that all English keyboards have a P on it. If you're not assuming something, you're not going to expand your knowledge at all or be able to make predictions. And if you're not making predictions, what's the point? If you're just describing what's already there.
This was the dude who killed you before.
Right. He
Whenever
probably
you damaged
doesn't
him,
like
he
me.
immediately healed to full health before.
He did? I don't remember damaging him at all.
It's because his health went immediately back up.
I don't think I swung at him before, if I recall. His health still goes back up.
Yep, were you watching the cutscene at the start of this fight?
Nope. I was looking at chat.
You should look around the room before you attack him.
I see lots of dead bodies. Damn. I thought I could escape.
Yeah, you probably would have done like 60% of his health there with your sword.
I have P on my keyboard because I have a toddler in the house that is being potty trained, and so there's P everywhere. You should know about this, Jahan.
It's behind you. It's the opposite side from the fog door. It looks like you busted it. There's an ice heart there. I think you like rolled past it when you went into the camera. The ice heart regenerates his health so long as it's alive. So you basically found his lair, destroyed his ice heart, and now you can damage him.
Accidentally destroyed his ice heart.
Yeah, the cutscene when he flies in focuses on it at great length and then puts you right in front of it the first time you fight him. That stuff building up is cursed, by the way. If you stand up too long. But your armor has really high curse resist. Always hear the R1 spam.
It works, man. Don't bash it.
I know. GG, first try. See if this skill is...
Was that? That was. Was he one of the big bad guys? I got some Lord
Sure
Shard.
was.
I mean, one of the final four.
Yep. Rocked him. You even ran in circles for a couple minutes, not being able to damage him. Like, what am I supposed to do? I didn't want to fix it.
No. Oh. I have failed, Nodovan. I have failed in my great quest.
I mean, Ivan's basically fire.
No, Ivan's not fire.
There's
I'm just
there's
going
a
to
bonfire in this
throw fireballs around the room to purify it. Diapers and potties, not keyboards. That is very strange. Okay. I have capped endurance. Now what?
Huzzah.
Start my entire run from scratch.
Man, that's really cool having that's a really good level of curse resist for that fight. Yeah, if you cut off his tail, you do get a cool sword. It's a pretty famous sword.
Well, I can't do that now, can I? The next attunement breakpoint is a ways, right? I don't really care about the next attunement breakpoint. I want to go for strength, I think.
It makes sense. Try to get that Smo's hammer.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I still have that tab open.
The sword he drops is a Dark Souls meme. It's in every Souls game, including Demon Souls and Bloodborne. It's like one of the only things that always sticks around.
Cool. Well, I'm sorry, Rice and Powder, but I turn into a pumpkin at midnight, so with that one shot, I'm going to be signing off.
Good night, man. Grats.
Thanks. Thanks for hanging out.
GG.
Good night, Yahan, Propagable, Nodovan, Game Saucer, Spiky, Goomba, etc. And may Smeeth burn in hell forever.